Hey guys, before we get started in the episode today, I just realized while editing that in the rest of the episode, when I have the cursor up, like when I'm looking at my inventory and stuff, it won't quite be lined up with where it actually is. I made some settings error in OBS that caused it, but my bad, it'll be fixed going forward. So, on to the episode. Here we go. Hello everyone, this is Jimmy, and welcome to episode 3 of Dungeons, Dragons, and Space Shuttles. Before we get started today, a couple quick administrative notes. First of all, based on the feedback from last episode, we will be keeping the field of view at this default field of view, which is, I think, 80 degrees or 70, I don't know. Either way, we'll just use the default for everyone's comfort. And secondly, the pack has been updated to version 6.0. Now, most of the changes are further down in the tech tree than we're at now, but one of the things that excites me, at least a little bit at least, is that the bees system seems to have been mostly overhauled. So all these different combs that the bees produce, they now produce different resources, or at least many of them produce different resources, perhaps more useful ones. So bees is a pretty grindy mod, I find, but there is Gendustry in the pack, I discovered, so when we get there, maybe we can use Gendustry to make doing bees a little bit easier. We'll see. Kind of looking forward to it, kind of dreading it, but I guess that'll be a project for later. For today, what I want to do is fix this disaster of the storage system, because there's literally no rhyme or reason to it. So what I want to do is I want to store our items in storage crates. The Actually Edition storage crates, because they're pretty big. And I think, does it say the size here somewhere? It doesn't, but yeah, it says more than 4 chests worth. Or I think double chests is what they mean, maybe? I don't know. Either way, they're very large. So, to craft them, the recipe isn't bad. It's a lot of wood, but wood's easy to come by. Silicon, which is, not that bad, right? It's sand, coal, some other stuff. And this Inori plate. So to make Inori plates, we need Inori crystals, which are made in the atomic reconstructor. So to do so, we need to make an atomic reconstructor. Before we can reasonably use this, we have to start making RF. So I looked in the quest line a little bit, and I think what we want to do is we want to get here, unlock tier 1 main quest line. So once we get here, that'll unlock this, and the first thing we'll do is, or at least pretty quickly, we'll start making the atomic reconstructor. So let's get to it. Guess we need a couple more tools. Let me craft these. That's done. I made them out of iron just because I think I have more iron than copper. I'll pick rewards later when I have somewhere to put them. Now we can make a copper coil. This looks like just a crafting component. It does take a lot of copper, unfortunately. And by the looks of it, I might have used up all of our copper. Alright, let me process some more of my ore then. I did some mining between episodes. Uh-oh. Who knows which one of these is what we have. I did some mining between episodes, so I have a bit of ore to process, but let me get that processed up and we can craft our coils. And I'm not sure if I've shown this yet, but the smeltery has grown a bit. Now it is, I think it's 7x7 base, too tall, so it can do a little over a stack of stuff at a time, which makes it much quicker at melting, all this copper. And then I'm just casting it into ingots. So one more ingot, and I should have enough to at least make the coil. There are a lot of coils. I think that's what we wanted. Let's go grab a couple pieces of redstone. It should be good to go. Can't wait till we have some type of unified storage. It'll make these crafting tasks so much easier. Because I don't have to dig through 6 chests to find where I put my redstone. Alright, that's that. And the next thing is to make the coal generator. So this looks like it'll be our first RF producing machine. It doesn't look too bad. Need a lot of tin and iron plates. I'm gonna have to process a little bit more tin for this, I think. Well, there's 4 plates. Hey, turns out I have some iron plates. Alright, let me collect the resources. Maybe I will have enough. And I'll just have to, you know, hammer the plates, or the ingots into plates. Alright, after gathering all the components, it looks like we can make our coal generator. Awesome. Let's complete this quest. And that leads us here. We start from over here. We need an engineer's workshop. With this workshop, you are one of the world's leading manufacturers of wires, highly advanced electrical, blah blah blah. Alright, let's make one. Alright, need some glass, some wood. Have to be colored? Doesn't look like it. Alright, one engineer's workshop. I think we'll need a lot more of these going forward because there's a bunch of different fluids that this uses. So, yeah, they all use various fluids. Like, it can use super glue, and I think a lot of tools can use various other fluids. There's lumium. But for now, let's just start with the one. Oh dear, where do we go from here? Go up here to sandy glass. Alright. That seems like a very reasonable recipe. We need 10 of these for now. Oh, the great hunt for finding anything in my storage. Put sandy glass in a mortar to obtain dust. I assume they mean one of these artisan mortars? Yep. Alright, let's see if we can find our mortar. I should just make those, you know, let's do it now. Let's make those work tables. I think that's what they're called, from forestry. Or workbench. Yeah, these things. So these you can just use them to hold your tools. It's like a crafting table with the recipe. Let me craft up maybe 5 or 6 of these really quick. So I made 3 work tables, and I just have them labeled with signs. We do have that nifty sign editing mod, which I like. So what I'm just doing is putting the various tools in here, and then what I can do is just put I think the way is we put the items in here, draw the recipe, and then we can just craft it. And if we like, we can lock the recipe here by right-clicking. Cool. So that's our sandy glass dust. Next step. Put sandy glass dust and rubber in an empty cell to obtain a solid glue compound cell. Looks easy enough. We have to make a few of these empty cells. So for now, I think we can only make it this way. Later we get the, I'm sure there's some way to make it with a machine. A rolling machine. Yeah, making it with a rolling machine is a lot more efficient, right? 4 ingots makes 24. But for now, we have to use a lot more than 4 ingots to make a lot less than 24. Oh well. So there's some tin. And again, since I have the hammer here, I think I can just do this. And I don't have tin plates yet. What am I missing? Glass panes? Hopefully, yeah, that's reasonable. And lastly, I just need some of my rubber. Alright, there's 8 glue cells. Plus only needed 5, but that's fine. Put glue cells in a furnace to obtain super glue. Which reminds me, I'm probably basically out of charcoal. So let's start another charcoal pile. Oops, need a new saw. Alright, 31 should do. So let's go turn all this charcoal into some, or all this wood into some charcoal. And I'll be back when that's done, I guess. While that charcoal cooks up, our super glue is done. I like how the quest book is walking me through this quite, one step at a time. Alright, so to get here we need basic circuits. To get here we need fluid duct and the power of the sun. So we'll need some solid silicons. Let me just look through this. If this is just a bunch of crafting steps, I'll just do it all off camera until we get to the atomic reconstructor. The other one needs solar energy. An energy cell needs transistors. So this is just a crafting recipe. Energy cell, this is nice, but this is just more crafting. Yeah, so if it's, I'm just gonna go ahead and do some crafting. Looks like I have to head out and find a Munroe Tree somewhere. But if it's just crafting, I'll come back when either I hit something that's more than just micro crafting, or we get to the atomic reconstructor, whichever comes first. Before I head out to look for the Munroe sapling I need to make the power cell, let's make a slime sling. And I already had slime boots from earlier that I'm not sure if I showed this, but I had a multi-jump book that I got from one of the book mobs. So I have multi-jump, which I guess means I kind of don't really need the slime sling. But for now, between the combination of two, it'll make it much easier to just, fly around, look for the Munroe Tree, which is quite distinctive. I'll show you when I find one. Here we go. This is a Munroe Tree, and that is a chameleon. Neat. So the trees have this very distinct blue color, and here's a spider around here somewhere. Oh well. When you cut them down, they usually drop Munroe berries as well, which are a halfway decent food source. Let's see if that's still the case here. Let's crystallize Munroe. I think that's what the crafting ingredient we want. It looks like we don't get Munroe berries. We only get okay, well, whatever. I think this is a crystal Munroe we need to make the power cell, but we need a few more of it. So I'm gonna go look for another tree. We did get exactly one sapling by the looks of things. I guess there's still some leaves left. Let's cut this oak tree to 2 then. But yep, looks like I'm gonna have to find another. Oh, there's another sapling. But looks like I'm gonna need a little bit more crystallized. So time to keep hunting. And we're back. So I found another Munroe Tree. I think I'm gonna plant some of these saplings just on the other side of our we call this bay. I think that's a bay. On the other side of our bay here. In case we need more. And I looked at the recipes. Turns out we can also turn this Munroe wood quite easily into saplings. Into crystallized Munroe. So if we take it, put it through either a squeezer or a mechanical squeezer, it produces this Munroe fluid resin, which can then be either drying basin or poured into a casting basin to make a block. Cool. So anyways, back to crafting and working our way towards the atomic reconstructor. To make the process of crafting silicon a little bit easier for myself, I want to make the alloy kiln from Immersive Engineering. To do so, we need some nether brick. So I think we have to make a quick trip to the nether. Everything else here is pretty tame, sand, gravel, bronze, etc. But all we need is a quick trip to the nether. So I'm hoping I'm allowed to do this. Excellent. And I'm also hoping I don't die. Alright, here we are in the nether. Doesn't look that bad. That looks like a creeper. Let's see. Let's start by marking the portal. And by claiming the chunk it's in so that a creeper doesn't blow us up. Looks like there's a fortress of some sort pretty close too. That looks like Papa Blaze. Is that a armored Juggernaut Blaze? If it is, we might have to leave sooner rather than later. Yeah, that's a Juggernaut Blaze. Oh, that wasn't too bad. I take back everything I said. You hurt a lot. Alright, you know what? Let's just grab the a couple pieces of this stuff and leave. In the update, we also appear to have lost the mod that automatically vacuums up items for you, which is unfortunate. But hopefully we can get out of here before they come kill us. See ya! I also hope we got enough. 34? Yeah, that's enough. Alright, cool. Back to crafting that energy cell. Here's our alloy kiln. To activate it, you just have to right click it with an engineer's hammer. It's 2x2 of these kiln bricks. And it's furnace fuel powered, and this should allow us to make silicon boules more efficiently. Right, so before it took some clay, some sawdust, and a bunch of sand and coal to make 2. Now it only takes sand and coal, and it makes 4. So basically per block of coal we get 4. The sand is very easy to get because there's a massive desert right there. Alright, so it looks like it takes it a little while, unfortunately, but that's okay, we can wait. Right now I need these silicon boules to make these silicon cells, which I can then cook into silicon cells, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. Anyways, yeah, it looks like we just have a fair bit more microcrafting before we get to the atomic reconstructor. Here's our first significant benchmark along the way, an energy cell. So now that we have some energy storage, I think it's not unreasonable for grab some fuel and turn on this coal generator. All we have to do is we want to set the all start input, which is perfect. Set it just right next to it and start her up. So this I think only gets like how much RF we get. I think it's, let's say, so survivalist generator would provide 18k if we want to make this, or 80k, but this is very slow. Doesn't say. I think the quest book's at 30k, which is actually much better than all the other generators. Let's see what the quest book says. I think it gave a number. Oh no, it's 30 RF a tick. Alright, so I guess we don't get to exactly know how much power it generates per. Yeah, it's easy enough. Let's just have it burn up one piece and we'll see. Yeah, it looks like we're halfway through one piece and it's produced already 30k. So maybe 50k per piece. I'll let you know when it's done cooking. But with that, this quest is done. Solar panels are next. Interesting. This produces 4 RF a tick? Huh. I wonder if it's ever worthwhile to try to focus mostly on solar power. It gets a lot more expensive after that. Whatever. Let's just build a couple for the quest. And that one piece of coal or charcoal has burned up and we got 48k on the dot for it. So I think compared to the other fuel burning dynamo types, this is much better. Right? Thermal expansion dynamo gives 16k. The furnace generator from extra utilities gives 16k. So the petrified fuel, it doesn't say the total amount. But anyways, yeah, it's only a little bit less than the survivalist generator, but it does it much more quickly. Anyways, whatever. I'm just going to toss a bunch of fuel in here, let it all turn into RF. But point is, this coal generator is reasonably efficient. We're getting pretty close to the atomic reconstructor now, but before we get there, one machine I want to make first is a compactor. this should be the first thing that we have that can produce plates more effectively. So let's grab some of our flux ducts. Right now, or previously, we were making plates by using, the hammer, and that would produce, let's see, for each ingot, it would, or for every 2 ingots, it would produce a plate. Well, here in the compactor, we can do one better. Now, for every 1 ingot, we get a plate. Downside is it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of power, but the fact that it's twice as efficient more than makes up for it. Now, with time, we can augment it, which will, once we have a higher tier machine and some augments, it'll run much faster. But for now, 1 ingot per plate is quite a step up. So why don't I grab a few chests and I can at least batch automate this. In the meantime, too, I think that puts us just 1 quest short of making the atomic reconstructor. So with a couple chests, it's configured to both auto input and auto output. All I have to do is put the stuff I want to make plates of in here, and they'll be turned into plates and be spat out here. For now, I think just some iron and copper plates should be all I need, but I'm sure I'll, need all the various types of plates as we go. Now let's see what we need to make this atomic reconstructor. I guess we need some more bronze plates too, and silicon plates, all kinds of plates. Alright. Phew, it's taken a lot of work, but here we have it. 1 atomic reconstructor. So, that should be the quest complete. Let's sleep through the night before we set it up. And with this, we can now easily make the storage crates. So let's set it up on this side because it's a little different from most machines. So when you first place it down, it starts on deactivation mode, which means it'll just shoot a laser every few seconds. We probably don't want that. Right click it with the redstone torch, sets it to pulse mode, and then if you just put a pressure plate in front of it, if anything triggers the pressure plate, it shoots its laser. Sweet. So for now, let's just make some Inori crystals, which is made from iron. Simple as that. And we'll claim quest rewards later. So that should complete this quest, which unlocks storage crates. It looks like it also unlocks the crusher. This is another thing that, we can turn 1 ingot into, or 1 ore into 2 dusts. A bunch of stuff down here I'll take a look at later. What's a controlled miner? Oh, never mind. I thought that was like a vertical miner. Anyways, I'm curious when we get our first quarry type device, but until then, let's go ahead and make a few small storage crates. Oh cool, and we can make storage cabinets. That'll make our storage situation much better. But for now, let's make, I don't know, maybe like 20 of these. So give me a second to craft them. Here's our 20 storage crates, and each one, yeah, they're pretty huge. What is this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by, is it 11? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 9 by 13. Which is what, 117 squares? I think each. Anyways, so what I'm thinking is that we will put them up here. You know how initially I was planning on building a small platform in the sky? I think I've gotten used to living above ground enough. I haven't just died in my base recently. So what I'll do is I'll tear down, this stuff here and just put up a wall of storage. And then, yeah, we'll work from there. But I think reorganizing my storage, putting all the signs on and so on and so forth will probably take the better part of, I don't know, an hour. So I'm not going to make you sit through that. I'll do all that off camera, and I'll be back when I'm cleaned up a little bit, hopefully. Whew, now we're kind of organized. The way I'm storing stuff for now is just everything has a crate it goes in. So like metals go in here, ores go in here, so on and so forth. And this one, when I'm actively crafting, stuff that, is in here can be, stuff that's in this crate can be accessed by the crafting grid, or our crafting station. Cool. So, now that we've done that, I think the next thing I want to work towards is getting ready for the tool forge, which requires this ovium stuff and steel. Look at the recipe for a tool forge. We have to make some methane too, but it takes a fair amount of steel and a block of ovium. So let's go work towards that. According to the quest line, it wants me to get mana steel or nickel to make the appropriate level pickaxe head to mine obsidian. All I did was I diamond embossed a bronze pickaxe, which gave it obsidian mining level so I could mine, well, obsidian. So I'm thinking I'll just go dig up enough nickel to complete the quest, and then we'll work from there. It looks like it wants us to go to the nether to get some nether brick and blaze rods, and then we can start making steel. So I guess I have a short mining trip in front of me to get a bit more nickel. Be right back. So I turned in some quests with the intention of getting myself some armor, and one that really caught my eye was this sapphire quest here, rewards you with one piece of this dragon scale armor, which is pretty good. If we can check it out, I chose a chest piece because I think the chest piece has the most protection, and it's better than diamond. I also made some Rustonia crystal pieces. They're about iron tier quality, but they're made of redstone. I have way more of than iron. So I think we're ready. I went into the nether too to fight some stuff to get our blaze rods, but I think we're getting pretty close to be able to make our tool forge. Looks like the next step is to make a blast furnace to prepare our steel and to process our galena into ovium. So let's start with that blast furnace. Let's see what that'll take. What's it called? Blast brick, I think? Yeah, so we start with the basic one, and it looks like later we get a fair amount of mana steel and regular steel. We can upgrade to the reinforced version. So bricks, nether bricks, easy enough. Sandy glass, all right. Soul dust and blaze powder. What does soul dust come from? Cooking soul stone, which I think we have to mine out of the nether, or we can craft it as well. Let me see. I recall before soulstone spawns in the nether. Let's see if that's still the case. Dimension -1. Is that the nether? I think so, right? So I guess I have to go back to the nether and dig up some of this cobbled soulstone so that we can make that soul dust, right? And one quick trip to the nether later, we have all the soul dust we need to make blast bricks. So I think it takes 27 of these to make a blast furnace. So we'll only make 28, I guess, since they make by 4. Can't make exactly 27, but that's fine. So let's put it over here. And I think it's a 3x3 structure that is completely solid, if memory serves me right. I love this multi-jump on the boots too. It makes it easy to, go up more than 2 blocks. Hit it in the face with the wrench, and there we go. A crude blast furnace. So with this we can make steel, and I think the way it works is it takes iron. If I have any iron... Uh-oh. Pressed iron, compressed iron. Do I have ores at least? 22 iron ore, that'll do. So if I grab some of this iron ore and go turn it into ingots. I have nickel and blood in there. Okay. The blood gets into my smeltery sometimes because it's not quite lit up inside. So like mobs can spawn inside. Oh well. I'll just use it as a divider. Anyways, I'm going to turn this iron into ingots real quick and be right back. Alrighty, let's see here. 10 ingots, or 16 ingots of iron has finished processing. That's enough for now. I'm thinking once we get this steel cooking, I'll probably end the episode here because I'm running out of resources. I wanted to try to get all the way to the tool forge today, but it looks like I don't quite have enough stuff to do it. So I'm gonna have to go mining for a while. So I think next episode we'll make the tool forge. But to wrap things up today, let's make our steel. So it can be, or to make steel, you can use either charcoal or coal coke. But since we haven't made the coke oven yet, we have to use charcoal, which is fine. So I think it takes about 4 pieces of charcoal per piece of steel. You just put the charcoal here, put the steel there, and wait. It's looking like it might even take more than 4 pieces. Maybe let's make 1 piece of steel and see exactly how much charcoal that takes. Normally it takes 4, but this thing doesn't tell us exactly how long it takes. So, but Anyways, I'll let this one piece of iron turn all the way to steel, and then we'll see how much of our charcoal it burned off in the process, I guess. All right, one piece of steel is done, and it took, I think this started at a full stack, so it takes 6 pieces of charcoal per. So that can turn 10 ingots into steel. But good news is I think we only need, how much? We only need 3 blocks for a tool forge. And I think the quest wants a block. Can I turn ingots into blocks by chance? I think this is one of the packs where turning ingots to blocks requires me to melt them down, right? Oh well, no big deal. Anyways, you know what, before we wrap up this episode, because of how much fuel this takes, I don't think I can keep up with charcoal. Just using the pit kilns to make charcoal, I don't think I can make it fast enough. So let's actually make ourselves that coke oven really quick. Took a quick look at this recipe. It's quite simple. A lot of bricks, sandstone, and this black iron ingot is literally just ingot with black dye. So I'm gonna have to kill a few squids or find some of those black lotuses laying around to make that black iron, but we should be able to make a coke oven to complement our blast furnace in just a minute. So the coke oven is built just like the blast furnace. That's 3x3 of those coke bricks. Right click it with the hammer to turn it on, and there we go. It has 2 main purposes, I think. It can turn coal into coke or wood into charcoal. For now, we're going to do the coal into coke. So the main advantage of coke is that it burns twice as long as charcoal or coal. And it also produces creosote oil along the way. Not quite sure what we're going to do with it, but maybe we'll just burn it. Doesn't look like there's much we can do with it. Like wood, treated wood. I guess we can look into, I'm sure there's various uses for it. We'll just hang on to at least some of it for now. So the crude blast furnace you see here cannot be automated. So if you put a hopper on it, next to it and try to pipe stuff in, it won't accept it. But if we upgrade the blast furnace, it will accept automation. But for the time being, we don't have enough steel to do that. However, the coke oven does accept automation, even at the basic level. So my thinking is we will have one chest where we put in we put coal in here, and then we pull the product out into here. So these omnidirectional hoppers are just made with compressed iron, but they're nice in that, well, they're basically hoppers that you can point in whichever direction. Like so. Now this will automatically pull coal out of here, put it in here, and then lastly we need to deal with the creosote oil somehow. So I think for now I'm just going to store it in a tank. We'll find a use for it eventually. I think the hopper itself stores 16 buckets, the tank stores 16 buckets. So eventually it'll fill up and we'll have to find some way to either use it or throw it away. But it'll take a little while to happen. Cool. So now this will effectively double our coal, so that we don't have to use up quite as much coal in the process of making steel. All right. Anyways, I think with that, our production of steel is pretty well, started at least. We'll be able to make enough steel to make our tool forge pretty quickly. So with that out of the way, how about we wrap up this episode here? I'll have to do some mining to get a bit more resources so we can get like all this galena and vanadium to make ovium and whatever else is needed. But yeah, with that, let's wrap this episode here. Wrap this episode up here. I hope to see you in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Take care. Bye-bye.